Welcome to Empower Edu. Today, we're diving deep into the pioneering book, Thinking, Fast and Slow, by Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman. In this comprehensive analysis, we'll explore the key concepts from the book, unpack their implications, and provide practical tips on how to use these insights to improve your decision-making and overall well-being. So grab a seat, and let's embark on this journey to master our minds. Part 1. Two Systems of Thinking. Kahneman introduces the concept of two systems of thinking that govern our decision-making process. System 1. Fast, automatic, and emotional thinking, often based on intuition. System 2. Slow, deliberate, and logical thinking, which requires conscious effort. Understanding the interplay between these two systems can help us make better decisions and avoid cognitive biases. Part 2. Cognitive biases. Thinking, Fast and Slow, sheds light on various cognitive biases that arise from our reliance on System 1 thinking. These biases can cloud our judgment and lead us to make less than optimal decisions. Some common biases include anchoring, being overly influenced by the first piece of information we encounter. Confirmation bias, seeking information that confirms our existing beliefs. Overconfidence, overestimating our knowledge and abilities. By recognizing these biases, we can engage System 2 thinking to make more rational decisions. Part 3. Heuristics and biases. Kahneman also explores several heuristics, which are mental shortcuts we use to simplify complex problems. While heuristics can be useful, they can also lead to biases in our decision-making. Some notable heuristics and biases include representativeness heuristic, judging probabilities based on how similar something is to a stereotype. Availability heuristic, estimating the likelihood of an event occurring based on how easily examples come to mind. Effect heuristic, relying on our emotional reactions to guide our judgments. Understanding these heuristics and biases can help us identify when we need to engage our System 2 thinking to make better decisions. Part 4. Prospect theory. Kahneman introduces the prospect theory, which explains how we perceive gains and losses differently. We tend to be more sensitive to losses than gains, leading us to make irrational decisions to avoid perceived losses. Understanding this bias can help us make better choices, especially in financial situations. Part 5. The availability heuristic. The availability heuristic is our tendency to judge the likelihood of an event occurring based on how easily examples come to mind. This tendency can lead to inaccurate judgments and irrational fears. To counter this bias, we can practice critical thinking and question our assumptions. Part 6. The planning fallacy and hindsight bias. Another important concept in Thinking, Fast and Slow is the planning fallacy, which refers to our tendency to underestimate the time and resources required to complete a task. By recognizing this bias, we can allocate resources more effectively and set realistic expectations for ourselves. In addition, Kahneman discusses hindsight bias, which is the tendency to believe something, after an event has happened, that we predicted or expected the outcome all along. This bias can prevent us from learning from our mistakes and adapting our decision-making processes. Part 7. Intuition and expertise. Thinking, Fast and Slow delves into the role of intuition in our decision-making. While intuition can be a powerful tool for experts, it can also be unreliable for those who lack experience in a given domain. Kahneman suggests that we should be cautious when relying on intuition and consider the level of expertise we have in the relevant area. Part 8. The sunk cost fallacy and loss aversion. Another key concept is the sunk cost fallacy, which is explained as our tendency to continue investing in a project or decision based on the amount we've already invested, rather than evaluating its current worth. Recognizing this fallacy can help us make more rational decisions and avoid throwing good money after bad. Loss aversion is another critical insight from Kahneman's work. We tend to be more affected by losses than equivalent gains, leading us to make risk-averse choices. By understanding loss aversion, we can challenge our instincts and make decisions based on a more balanced assessment of potential outcomes. Part 9. Practical tips for better decision-making. Now that we've covered the key concepts from Thinking, Fast and Slow, let's explore some practical tips for improving our decision-making. Slow down. Stop and give yourself time to think and engage System 2 before making important decisions. Seek diverse perspectives. Consult different sources of information to avoid confirmation bias. Evaluate your options. Weigh the pros and cons of each choice to make more rational decisions. Learn from your mistakes. Reflect on past decisions to identify patterns and improve future choices. Set realistic expectations. Be aware of the planning fallacy and allocate resources accordingly. Cultivate mindfulness. Practice self-awareness and mindfulness to recognize when cognitive biases are influencing your decision-making. So, in conclusion, thinking fast and slow provides invaluable insights into the inner workings of our minds and the ways we can harness this knowledge to make better decisions. By understanding the interplay between System 1 and System 2, recognizing cognitive biases, and applying practical tips, we can improve our decision-making and overall well-being. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Empower Edu, and share it with your friends who are interested in personal growth. Let us know in the comments which concepts from thinking fast and slow resonate with you the most, and let's continue the conversation together. Remember, the journey to mastering our minds is ongoing, so keep learning and growing.